I'm a professional photographer. I'm supposed to hate this stuff. But recently I found this brand new AI tool and it genuinely blew me away. So naturally I decided to try a few little tricks with it inside of my own photography workflow, and they actually helped me out big time. Plus, the crazy part, it's stupidly easy to use. Alright, so this tool can do a lot of crazy things, and I've personally been using it for a few different reasons. I've also talked to a few of my photographer friends to see how they are using it to improve their workflow, and some of their ideas are really cool, and some are honestly also pretty damn weird. But for starters, this thing has helped me massively with my own thumbnail game. It used to be that you needed to know photography, Photoshop, graphic design, and all of that shananabang just to make a solid thumbnail. But now, even if you get just half decent with these new tools, anyone can create banger thumbnails. There are probably multiple different ways to use this to improve your thumbnails, but there are two ways specifically that I've been using that I'm going to share with you. The first one is like way too simple. It's maybe not even a trick or whatever, but I'm going to share it anyway. And that is for idea generation. Basically, you sit down, you type whatever comes to your mind, you let the tool show you the different visual concepts, and it's basically like jump-starting your creative brain and helping you see styles and ideas that you could easily create yourself. You understand? With other words, stupidly simple and super practical and not really mind-blowing. We're getting to the mind-blowing part. Now, then there's the next level, and that's where you take your own photos and use the tool to do things you couldn't do or couldn't pull off because you didn't have the time or the skills or even the funds. For example, here's a thumbnail I took not that long ago. It's just my gear dumped on the floor right here. Not so exciting and sexy at all, right? But in just a few seconds, I swapped out the backgrounds to any other background that I wanted, and it looked perfect. Guys, cutting things out like that manually used to take me hours inside of Photoshop, and I wasn't even that good at it to begin with. And now, today, this brand new tool that I just discovered goes even further. You see, image generators used to be terrible with text, but that's basically fixed. Later in this video, I'll show you how I can create insanely good diagrams and PDFs in seconds. But like, let's not get my ADHD brain taking over here. Let's stay on track, and I'll show you that later. So here's a thumbnail I made recently. I just posted here by the computer. And I wanted to juice this up and make it more exciting. And I can do that inside of Photoshop. My skills are pretty like below average in Photoshop, but I'm okay, you know. I can do things there. I know my way around the program. But I wanted to try out if I could just speed up my workflow tremendously and even make it better. And in seconds, the machine came out with this. And I mean, it looks flawless. And I also wanted to see if we could change the color of my hoodie, and boom, it did that. This used to also take me a long time. Now it's just cling, finished. I can do, what am I supposed to do with my time now? Hang out with my kids. I got 3. Now they have more time with me, less time here in the studio. Basically, doing all of this is no effort, no masking, and zero of that all too common Photoshop frustration and pain that a lot of us feel. Except you Photoshop wizards out there. You guys, you still rule, you know? Now the possibilities here are honestly endless. And if you have a good photo of yourself, you can upload it and tell the machine to make you hold a sign, or stand in a different room, or change your entire outfit. Now, as I alluded to earlier, is that an English word? Allude. Dang, is my English getting this better? But as I said before, then this tool can also create full professional PDFs in a second. I kid you not, my friends, my brain melted and started to leak out of my ear when I saw this. And I'm gonna show you this now, hands-on, together, me and you, baby, side by side. This is pretty cozy, right? Just me and you hanging out here like a couple of old friends having a good time. Anyway, the tool that I'm using is Nano Banana Pro, and this thing is pretty stupidly accurate. I mean, I'm a bit blown away. I always like to link things to real-life use cases, and a student of mine sent me a message yesterday saying like, hey, if you could create a big cheat sheet with all of the shortcuts in Lightroom. It's for my Lightroom masterclass, which is a great masterclass. Shameless plug right there. But I thought this is a perfect opportunity to try this out because I've heard people been raving about it. So what I did, I just came here to image generator, had Nano Banana Pro on, and then I just wrote a little prompt and it gave me this. Isn't this pretty, and forgive me for swearing, fucking sick? I mean, it looks flawless, and as I've understood, it can render things in multiple different languages as well. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking like, okay, but it looks pretty basic. Can it do something a bit more cooler, you know, more graphic designy, because this kind of looks like I did in the paint, or this looks like I would do it, you know, this is or better actually than I would do it. But I decided to challenge it, and with a little tweak in the prompt, it gave me this here. And I don't know about you, but this looks pretty epic. And as you can see, this is the front cover, and then you have the different pages right here. I don't know what to say. I saw this and I was like, oh my God, because AI had been struggling so much with text before, and now it's just ridiculous. And even diagrams as well. You can create complex diagrams to help explain things to your students or just your friends. Maybe you're explaining something really difficult and he go like, what is that? You go, no problem. Well, give me 1 second. Here's a diagram. Now you can visualize this. Then you can do that. So how do you then come up with a good prompt? Well, that is a skill set that needed to be learned, but I know one secret trick that you can do that is absolutely crazy, and I'll show you that in a second first. But one thing that you could do if you use Artlist, which is what I use to generate all of my things, whether it's photos, videos, or even my images and create videos out of them, then down here, if you're in the AI image or AI video, they have a lot of things to explore. So all of this is created using these models, and if you click on it, you can see the prompts that was used, and then you can play with it and further customize it to your own needs. And also the way my workflow look like, if it's just some simple things that I need to generate or create, I usually type down whatever that comes to my mind. We can say like a ginger Viking standing alone with his Viking helmet looking fierce. Is this maybe a wet dream I have? Now what you can do, if you see that here in the corner, you can click enhance, and Artlist will help you enhance this prompt to make it better. And the more you describe and the more descriptive you are, the better it would be. And here you have a formidable ginger Viking standing his muscular frame. Oh, this is good. Anyway, all you have to do then is to pick the model that you want to pick. You have two from pick from here. If you're creating videos in the video generator, you have multiple different models to choose from. But Nano Banana Pro is the bomb, and you just click generate and see what happens. And while we're waiting for this generation, then let me show you a little ninja trick if you want to create proper prompts. So remember these PDFs that I made. So what I did actually, let me show you. I went to ChatGPT and I wrote, can you give me a list of the most common and most useful shortcuts in Lightroom Classic, please? Always say please, because when they come, I want to be the person that said please to them, and they will be like, he was very kind to us. Anyway, you have here all of the shortcuts, really, really good. Then I said, can you create a prompt for Nano Banana Pro so I can create a clean PDF file for me so I can see this visually and give it to my students? No problem. It took all of this here, and it's not only telling exactly what shortcuts to have, but also how it should be made. And then I just copy pasted, not that hard. Click, right click, copy, went over to Artlist, image to image generator, and then just pasted it in and boom, generated, and I got that. And as many of you guys know, then I've been using Artlist for years for all of my music, sound effects, stock footage, plugins, templates, and so much more. And they've been going hard on these AI models. What I like about this and how they've done it is that it's so user-friendly. I am not that tech savvy, and if I'm able to figure this out, then you can too. It's stupidly simple. All right, so the Viking is here, and this is how and then if you wanted to, you could actually download this photo and then go to the AI video tool, and you can drop it in here and create image to video and start to play with it. Another way that us photographers can use this technology to our advantage is by creating mood boards. It's been a long time since I was a freelance photographer, and I didn't do that long. But many of my best friends are full-time freelancers, and they're constantly creating mood boards. And I even do it sometimes myself when I'm creating a bigger project, and even there are people involved, and I just want to show this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm going for. And getting that first mock-up by using tools like this is incredibly easy. For instance, this is a mood board of Blue Hour in Stockholm with model, and I wanted this Scandinavian feeling and this Scandinavian type of clothing and all that. And it looks freaking sick. And also it gives us the hues here. So I don't know what you think, but I think this is magical, and it's such a big help for us to visualize things, and you just do it in seconds, and you can really generate anything that you want and get super creative, and then you can see that and be like, okay, now we can create that into the real world and start to work on your project that way. Right now, at this very moment, Artlist is running a massive holiday sale, which means that you can get 40% off their annual AI plans or 20% off their entire Max Pro plan, plus 2 months extra for free. Now, I know that I say this a lot, and I've been partnering with Artlist for years, and before that, I was a paying customer of them, and I genuinely think this is an incredible good product for every freelancer and creative out there, but I couldn't create everything that I do without using their platform. It's just an essential part in my toolkit. Anyway, down in the description there's a link. It will give you the perks that I just talked about. Also, I will get a kickback if you decide to sign up, which massively helps me out in creating all of these videos, in everything. So massive thanks for you for clicking that link. And as always, just thank you to Artlist for being a loyal and a good partner throughout the years. You guys rock, you know? Look, I know a lot of people in the photography community are super skeptical right now, and I totally get it. There's no question about it that this is a massive change, and big changes always feel scary. And yes, some things will shift and some jobs will 100% evolve. But I'm not that old, but I still have 3 kids, you know, and a couple of years around the sun. And what I've noticed is that with every big shift, there are always new opportunities. And the way I see it is that we can use these tools and this stuff to enhance our creative vision, to create things we couldn't do before, whether it was because of skill, time, or because of budget. You see, now as a solo creator and a photographer, you suddenly have access to tools that used to be reserved for big teams and big money. Also, whether you like it or not, the genie is out of the bottle, my friend. So you can either ignore it, or you can learn it and give yourself the edge. Coming at you here with some Icelandic wisdom, you know? Plus, honestly, I keep thinking back to when masking tools and denoise tools came first out in programs like Photoshop and Lightroom and whatnot, and people were freaking out. And the purists, well, they were up in arms, you know? But you don't really hear much about them now, right? Because this is just becoming the norm. And I wonder if all of these new AI tools that are coming out now will one day just become another tool in our toolkit that we use as creatives and photographers. Because at the end of the day, it's just that, another tool in our toolkit. I mean, if a tool helps us create something epic, why shouldn't we use it? And my friend, if you want to keep pushing your creativity even further, then the next thing I'd look at is your editing. Because the fastest way to level up your photos still is the way that you edit them. So my friend, if you want to see the single biggest shift to my own editing and what's improved my entire workflow there, then you should watch this video next.